I'm Randle here in Michigan.
And I'm Matt here in Michigan. And like you just heard, Randall's here in Michigan.
What?
Why? Randall, why are you here in Michigan?
Oh, well, sometimes you just got to come to Michigan, do a live stream. We've already done our live stream at the time of this filming, so you might want to go check it out. It's still up on our YouTube channel. We did a live stream of
Spaceballs, the movie.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, gotta go for the classic.
Mel Gibson.
No, Mel Brooks.
Good. Get on with it.
Today, though, we're not doing Spaceballs. Today, we're doing Dawn of the Dead, the 1978 film, not the 2004 remake. This movie stars David M.G., Ken Foree, Scott Reiner, and Galen Ross. It's directed by George A. Romero. He's well known for the Night of the Living Dead series. Night of the Living Dead was the first one in this series. And it also includes this movie. He's often called the father of the zombie film.
This movie has a super simple premise. It's just about a group of people who are trying to survive the zombie apocalypse at a shopping mall. The movie cost about $1.5 million to make, but earned $66 million. It's the most profitable movie in the series. Adjusted for inflation, though, those numbers look even more ridiculous. It's a budget of $5.9 million, but a gross of $263 million. Yeah, exactly. It was a critical success. It received lots of positive reviews from critics, and audiences loved it. Clearly, Roger Ebert once called it the best horror film ever made.
Definitely one of the best.
With all that high praise, having just watched it, what do you think of the 1978 film Dawn of the Dead?
So this is kind of an interesting movie to look at, because this is one of those movies that feels very familiar. And I think the reason that is because this movie kind of like set the standard a bit when it comes to zombie films. You know, the mall scene. I mean, if you ever played like Dead Rising or...
Dead Rising. I have Dead Rising in my notes. I was like, man, Dead Rising hit it on the head. Seriously.
So to me, when I approach this movie, I'm like, man, I got to take all that into effect. It's not like, hey, I'm watching this movie like, I've seen all this. There's a reason. It's because all these other ones that we've seen have kind of taken from this movie. So for that, I definitely thought it was an interesting take. It's definitely a 70s film, especially in the beginning. It feels its age a little bit.
It does. It definitely does. But like, it also feels its age not just because it's a 70s film. Because there's some good films in the 70s. You know, go to the Unapologetic Geeks channel. Lots of good films in the 70s.
Yep.
Really, for me, the thing that is that you see a lot of the low budget. Where most of the zombies they're just extras who weren't even, they're being paid like $1 a day or whatever because they have to be paid. But it's like, well, there wasn't that much tension unless a character was alone. Anytime they were with another character, you're just like, how come that other character's not helping them? Like, there's a scene in the mall where the two friends, or well, I guess friends or whatever, he's standing there like, come on, man, come on. I'm like, you could help him. And you're not like, but the tension comes from like whenever you get to a point where there's overwhelming zombies.
Yeah.
Because as everyone always says, are these George A. Romero zombies or are these like 28 Days Later zombies?
Yep. These aren't your fast moving, I'm chasing after you, I'm going to jump at you. This is more like, slow, like, I'm coming at you. They're kind of like a joke through part of the movie. Like, there's one part of the movie where the bikers are coming. And they're just like, they're pieing the zombies in the face and stuff. Yep. So they're kind of a joke. But I think that also plays into our characters a little bit, is after they've been in this zombie apocalypse for a while, they're a little bit too comfortable. And that's when they start letting their guard down.
Yep, definitely. And to, like, more to your point about how every other zombie movie steals from this, Shaun of the Dead totally steals from this. Where it's like, okay, well, they are the slow kind of zombies, the stupid, slow zombies. And all you got to do is maneuver around them as long as there's not too many of them. You can go and bash them in the head. They're super easy to take care of. Again, as long as there's not too many of them.
Well, that's the thing, too. Sometimes, even depending on your group, I'll go back to the bike scene where they're like, hey, our main character's like, we'll just flood them with zombies and they'll have problems with them. Yeah, but they really aren't too much of a threat until they actually start shooting at the bikers or whatever.
Right.
That's when the zombies really, when they have multiple things that they have to
Pay attention
focus
to,
on.
yeah.
Yep.
From a straight movie perspective, some of the things that this definitely does very, very well is set up like in the aftermath of the original movie, the chaotic nature at the news center where when the movie first starts. Everything's kind of crazy. We don't know what's online. We don't know what safety sites are online. The stress of the situation's really getting to everybody. And so when our protagonists show up at this mall, and they're just like, okay, we'll stay here. We got a good thing going on here. And it's really a set of circumstances where we're gonna hold on to any little piece of civilization that we can.
Yeah.
And that sets the stage for later becoming too comfortable or becoming too, okay with the situation, becoming complacent.
Yep. Well, other thing too is ideas that those are all things we kind of like strive for. I think this movie kind of looks at like consumerism a bit.
Oh, definitely.
Like especially like the mall. Some of the zombies keep coming to the mall even when they don't know people are there. It's just like that's what they remember doing when they were humans. So they're going to the mall. So there's part of that of kind of like the zombies. But when we're talking about our main characters, when they have the mall to themselves, like even that isn't really enough. We have the one where two of our characters kind of like one proposes to the other, and she basically says no because it
wouldn't be real.
That kind of gets into like the psyche of our characters later when they're contemplating suicide and stuff.
So even if you have all of the niceties that they did have, there's still just a matter of the mundane. Like this just becomes the same thing.
Yep.
Day in and day out. And at that point, are they any different than the zombies? Just if they just go about their lives with the conveniences of their mall and their background, what really does? And honestly, if you watch the entire series, they start answering those questions as things get more and more and more desperate. And are we any better than the zombies? So.
It's called Dawn of the Dead, but really the zombies when this movie starts, zombies have been around for a few weeks anyways, and it's just people trying to figure out. You're talking about those news reports. That's where we get all the information about what the zombies are. What are people doing to like try to counteract them and different stuff like that. We get all that. I don't know if you want to say exposition dump or
it is exposition. Yes, it does. It does. But it brings so you don't have to watch Night of the Living Dead for this film, the second in the series, to make sense. Because they go through the trouble of making sure that all of the most important things that a character would need a viewer would need is taken care of. That exposition. It's good exposition though. It's not just we gotta get this out of the way.
One thing we gotta talk about this movie too, I think, is when it was like marketed out. This was kind of marketed as almost like over the top.
Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all time.
We kind of mentioned the special effects a little bit.
It's 78.
I mean,
budget.
It's not like we have the zombies now where they have like bite marks and stuff are going. Most of the people just have like gray paint. They're
not even their hands.
They're just gray painted out, and that's how you know they're zombies. They're like moving and stuff. But we get a lot of like exploding heads and parts getting like bitten off and different things. So yeah, at the time I could definitely see how this would be kind of over the top gore.
It's definitely different from like the 50s, 60s, and whatever. Like you're looking at westerns and stuff where they would have like maybe a tiny like ketchup splatter or something like that. And then Night of the Living Dead comes, and Dawn of the Dead comes, and it's just so it's a different take than people were used to seeing at the time.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I think the acting also in this movie was good for the most part. Sometimes they do dumb things. One of our main characters, Flyboy, just, in the back room, kind of just like firing off his gun at whatever shadow and stuff he's got without. It's kind of like, oh my goodness, buddy. But for the most part, I think the acting and stuff in this was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked the characters.
I was genuinely pleased with this film. It's not my first viewing. It's like my second time I've seen it, but it's still pretty good. I think it holds up mostly well. Special effects have aged. The budget definitely shows. Like we said with the zombies and the weird jump cuts that happen with a lot of budget films. But I'm good. I'm happy.
This is definitely a movie that I think if you're a fan of like the zombie genre, I think it's a must-see for you, just to see where a lot of those things that you probably enjoy, like, hey, this is where this is coming from, this movie. So it's really good to see that. I like zombies, though I haven't seen this movie before this. I was glad that I saw it.
You're welcome. Well, let us know what you guys think down in the comments below. Matt and I have got a lot of different videos up. We're kind of going through a Halloween-y phase right now, so some more scary movies coming on the way. Make sure to check that out.
Yeah, and if you like this review, be sure to give us a thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe and ring that bell so you can get notified about when our other videos are coming out. We also have a Facebook page, so be sure to check that out. We will always put a post up the day before our videos come out to let you know what the next video is going to be. For now, I'm Matt here in Michigan.
And I'm Randle here in Michigan. Yeah.
Have a great day, everyone.
See everyone later.
Next time on No Market Media. Please consider checking out some of our other videos.